Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Nickel 2009 and I've got a video of my first mini today. I've never done a mini before, so it's kind of an interesting thing. Anyways, it's a take on the Paper Pantry envelope style, and with of course my own twists and whatnot. So anyways, here we go. This is just a Prima trim, and it's an album of the Wannick family on my dad's side, some really old pictures that I photocopied. So those are just some roses. That's a frame that I stamped out, and then I just glimmered mist the heck out of it because it didn't turn out very well. And family is from my Cricut, and that is from rub-ons, and then the edging is just scissors. So that's that, and then that's just a charm I did, and I just glued the roses on the, or the trim on the outside. I love that. And then on the inside, I just cut out some of the butterflies from this paper, and I don't know any of the names or anything like that, so sorry. And then I just edged the outside a little bit, and I just love that with the butterflies and whatnot. And then this is another old photo, and it says love, 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 and the trim on the outside of the envelope was not very good, so I just put some ribbon on there just to cover it up, and it turned out okay. And all my trim, this is foam, and I just had to fold the envelope. Oops, I'll show you a little bit. I just folded the envelope, so this is the size of the mini, and then this is the trim, and I folded it once, folded it twice, and then stapled it, and then I glued the foam around it, so that's foam. And then put some lace on there, and then there's a pocket, and that's just a little romance. It's in a little piece of paper that I cut up, and it's a brad, and then some journaling, and then that just pops back in there. And then this is the flip side, because you use these little envelopes on it and you glue them on like that. So it's very easy. That's my grandmother, my dad's mom, when she was young, and that's my favorite photo ever in all time. And then there's a little pocket inside there, and just some journaling and whatnot. And then this side here, my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my father. So that's that trim. And then that's my dad in 1948. His name is Dennis. And I don't know if you noticed, but this paper here, so it's got the border and the trim and the flowers. It's very hard to tell, but if you look on the wallpaper, it's the exact same. I couldn't believe it. I found that by fluke. Oh, it was so cool. Anyways, I love this photo. It looks like James Dean. That's my grandfather, and that's a friend of his. And this photo has been a good learning experience because my first time doing scrapbooking and whatnot, so I'm learning all kinds of neat techniques. And then that's a frame that I got from Silly Frog Honeybee. And those are stumps that my grandfather pulled out with his bulldozer. That was when he was working for Blair. And then my grandmother, that's at the Disneyland pirate ship. And then there's another pocket here. The other one I didn't put pocket on. And that's my grandfather looking quite debonair. And this is kind of like a photo frame, so they can hang it up if they want to. Whoever, my ancestors, whatever. And then that's a brad. And that's my grandfather over here. And then his friend, Henry Belcorn. Apparently that was his best friend. Okay. And then my grandmother giving my grandfather a haircut. And that's my dad on his birthday. Everyone's having a celebration. I use little mini stamps throughout too for the numbering and whatnot. So that's my great-grandmother, I guess. And my grandfather with his bulldozer. And it says, Wannock and Elf Green, Winter, 1947, March, Springfield Road. Lots of snow back then. This is bulldozer, working for the municipality of Burnaby. And then this one, I just did a little color on this one because the paper was so black. And I just wanted a little bit of color to pop out. And that's my dad. My dad told me a story that after this picture was taken, there was a bunny rabbit that he wanted so badly, and my grandfather jumped into the bush and grabbed the bunny rabbit and came back about 20 minutes later or whatever. It was all scratched to rat shit and gave my dad the bunny rabbit. And that was July 1955. I love these old photos because they have the dates on them. July 1955. My grandfather built that house by himself. And unfortunately he had to sell it, and it's no longer there. He had to sell it because my grandmother got cancer. And back then, they did not have medical or anything, so anyways, that's the same day. I like these old buttons and stuff. And then this is just a stamp that I got at a store. I liked it because of the back of the paper here. Looks like little stamps. And I just glossy accented it. And just more photos, and that's the bulldozer company that my grandfather used to have, but he had to sell it. So hard times when someone's sick. And then that's just, I don't know whose car that is, but it's somebody in my family's apparently. And then I liked it because it's obviously a wedding, and then on this paper it's got romance and stuff like that. And then on this side, there's another one of those frames that Silly Frog Honeybee gave me. And that's my grandfather. Oh, I guess it's my grandfather's car. But I don't know why. Who's getting married? Probably my aunt. Because my aunt was quite a bit older. So he loved his 1957 Chrysler New Yorker. And then there's some room for journaling. And that's my aunt getting married. That's my dad back in the day. And then I just left some room for journaling. And that's my grandfather and my grandmother. I never met her. She died before I was born. But everyone says I look like her. I have lots of resemblance of her, or I feel like I do anyways. And that's my dad's photo, and that's my dad. Dennis Wannock. I cut that out of the school paper. So that's kind of neat. That's Morley Division 2, Grade 6, Layton, 1958. So aren't they a charming bunch? I just love all those old clothes. Look how everyone looks so pretty. So nice. And then that's my dad. That's the dog that he loved so much. Still around. Or he's still around when my dad got older, as you can see there. And that's my Uncle Gus and my aunt, my great Uncle Gus and my great Aunt Edna. And I don't remember her too much, but I remember him, and he was in the old folks home. He used to give me big box of nachos when I was younger. So funny what you remember. 1964, that's them again. And that's my aunt when she was younger. My grandmother, my grandfather, and I don't know who those are. And then another pocket. So that's Grandpa Mankey and his fourth wife. My grandmother on my dad's side was Mennonite. So that explains a lot right there. And then that's just an old church of somebody. And that's the ripping of the paper technique that people, and then rolling it. That was kind of neat. And then that's a little rub-on that I put on there. Same on that side for journaling. And that's just a piece of chipboard I got from somebody. And then this is my dad's 65 Valiant Custom Dodge. This is my dad's first car. My husband, I showed him this page and he was, normally when I show him stuff he's like, yeah, that's nice, thanks, good old type dear, go away type thing. This one here, he was like, hey, something wrong with that picture there. What's a flower doing on a car picture? So funny what he notices. So I like that. And then this one, this is the final page. This is of my grandmother, I guess before she died. And that is my mother. She apparently was taking care of my grandmother in the house and all that stuff. She was basically the housemaid. And that's how her and my dad met, apparently. So Mary Wannock and Margaret Noakes, because that's what my mother's name was back then. So just pieces of Prima bling that I had left over from a card that I made from Prima. And then the back page is a piece of Mariposa paper, I think it is. And it's got butterflies all over it, so it kind of ties in with the very flip side of the front. And then that's the back. I really like that paper a lot. And I just bound it with some hemp string. And then some bling. A little bit of charm. I like that one. That's very, very pretty. It's one of my favorites. And forever. That's about it. Nikki. So, thanks for watching my first video of my first, my video of my first mini. Alright, thanks, bye.